And it's kind of like a counterintuitive question that you can use with your clients anytime, really, is like, what good is coming from this maladaptive behavior, right?
Why is it, because I do this to myself all the time, that clients or ourselves are like making progress, seeing the progress that they're making, and then throwing it in the fire? Like, what is that?
Oh my gosh, it can be so many things, and I almost feel bad because I feel like with every single one of your questions, I'm like, well, we could go 17 different directions, so I'm just gonna pick one. But yeah, but the truth is, gosh, I really do want to come back to mindset because where is it in yourself that you're thinking like, even though I'm doing the things and I'm making forward progress and whatever, like I was even talking to you off air about how I'm like, I have just had a day where I just don't want to do anything. I can't stay focused. And so I am self-sabotaging by being like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go like sit on the couch and read my book for a little bit when I have work I need to be doing, And I think in that case too, it's like, are we talking about self-sabotage or are we just talking about like sort of like a blip? And are we then labeling it as self-sabotage and saying it's this really bad thing? And then once we start going down that spiral of like, I'm doing this to myself, I can't stay focused, I can't do these things, I keep getting in my own way. Or is it just okay, that hour of the day, not so great, but that's a drop in the ocean for my entire week, my month, my whatever? So some of it is just like mindset as far as like reframing and seeing it differently than I am self-sabotaging. On that note, though, when it comes to self-sabotage, we're thinking about our clients and health and fitness behaviors and people, yeah, getting in their own way and saying like, no, I'm only going to have like 2 drinks when I go to dinner with my friends. And then they end up staying out till 3 o'clock in the morning and they feel terrible the next day. And then they're feeling guilty and shameful and all of this stuff. And yeah, that's self-sabotaging their efforts for sure. But I think kind of comes back to what we were talking about before too, is better understanding like what is self-serving about the self-sabotage? Like what are you getting out of doing that? So if we use that example of like 2 drinks at dinner turned into 2 o'clock in the morning and feeling like crap the whole day, skipping the workout, all of the things, then what was it about that evening that was good for you? And it's kind of like a counterintuitive question that you can use with your clients anytime, really, is like, what good is coming from this maladaptive behavior, right? And you have to be kind of like careful of how you say that because you don't want it to come off as like condescending, like what good is this doing you? Like that's not what we're trying to get at. But truly, like, hey, you wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't serving you in some way, if it wasn't benefiting you, you weren't getting something good out of it, because otherwise you wouldn't do it, right? So like really helping them become more aware and recognize why they're self-sabotaging, like what good is actually coming from the self-sabotage, because we're so quick to just be like, no, it's bad entirely. Well, it can't be. There has to be something that we're getting from it. Otherwise we wouldn't do it. So I think yeah, so much of this just comes back down to awareness and trying to figure out what that is, because there is no one blanket answer as to why people self-sabotage, right? I think it comes down to a lot of different factors, but that can be a really big piece of it.
Okay. So let's put it into practice. So if I said like, I'm working from home, I want to have 3 balanced meals a day, I want to stop like stress snacking, right? In between sessions or whatever it may be. And then I find myself doing it, right? And then I find myself all of a sudden like downing my kids' Cheez-Its. If you're using that example, so what would be some examples with that for the good that comes from that? Like maybe that person is seeking what?
Yeah. So then I hear this example and I'm like, okay, we could talk about, is there like a emotional eating thing kind of going on here? Like you're trying to fill a void, like having that time in between sessions is I need to like continue to busy myself with something. And so it becomes snacking. Or is it you're stressed between those sessions and you're feeling like I need to fill that time with something productive and that's stressing you out. And so like I need to just again go do something, fill that void, or in some ways sort of like mask it by eating instead of having to face doing things or being productive, or that like lull period between sessions, anything like that. So we could go that direction. We could also talk about habit formation. So if this is something that you've just like consistently done, like I get off an hour-long session and I have 30 minutes in between, I go to the pantry, and that's just like this automatic thing that you're not even thinking about, then how do we kind of disrupt that pattern? I'm not not a big fan of the like, we'll just throw away the Cheez-Its. Don't keep Cheez-Its in your house if you can't like have self-control around them. But instead, how do we just like create some buffer between that? Even if it's the Cheez-Its now live out in the garage on a shelf, right? If your kids don't need them at any time, then like maybe that's an option for you. Or even just putting them on the top shelf of the pantry where you have to like get out a stool in order to get them. Just make it a little bit more difficult, like increase the friction to doing it. And what can be really helpful there is now that we've created this pause in between, it gives you the time to make a different decision. Whereas before, it's just like open up the pantry, they're right in front of your face, you're grabbing a handful, and then before you know it, you're like halfway through the box and you didn't even mean to do it. Whereas now, you have to get out the stool, you have to do all this stuff, and in that time, you might be thinking, do I actually really even need this? Or another example could be you just set a rule for yourself. You can have the Cheez-Its, but you have to take out the Cheez-Its, put them into a bowl, sit down, have no distractions, and then enjoy the Cheez-Its. And you know how many people are like, oh, I don't want to do it that way. Well, it's like, then you clearly don't actually really want it. It's doing something else for you than actually like fueling you, right? So yeah, habit formation. We could talk about the emotional eating piece.
I like that pattern
there's so many
disruption.
directions.
I think that that's a really good tangible tool. It's like, right, just, yeah, okay, maybe you have to read like 5 pages of a book before you're allowed to eat Cheez-Its, right? Like, so just something, yeah, to make it not so subconscious and make it a little bit more of a choice that you're making.
Yeah. Or it could even be, drink 8 ounces of water before you do it. And so just like during that time, you're pausing, you're putting a break in that
makes a lot
pattern.
of sense. I love that. I love that. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but if you are a health or wellness professional and you haven't yet checked out The Wellness Vault, you're missing out. The Wellness Vault is a content hub for coaches who create their own plans and programs for their clients, run workshops, create digital guides, and so much more. You can now do all of this in a fraction of the time so you can focus on your clients and grow your business faster than ever with more you time. The link to The Wellness Vault is in the show notes, so go sign up for your free trial today. Thank you for watching this short clip. To watch or listen to this episode in its entirety, view the description below. See you next time.